Hello, it is Lord Haywire. I am attempting to stream some 2D4X. This is the third time. This is my third attempt. Uh, all sorts of issues today. Let's see. We got to double check, though. Okay, it actually looks like it's working this time. Oh, maybe not. It seems to be YouTube. It says I have an excellent connect. Oh, there we go. There we go. All right. Okay, so what was I talking about? I tried to stream. It didn't work, and then I had issues with my headset, which is nothing's changed. Whatever. Computers, no one knows how they work. I always joke. But what is it that I'm... Oh, now it wants me to sign into Twitch? Get the fuck out of here. Oh, everything. Wait, what about this one? This one seems to be okay. Is this actually okay? Is this okay? Nope. My God. All right. I'm gonna do both at the same time. I'm gonna yammer and do the other thing. Oh, I also got to delete this other. Jesus Christ! Why is this so difficult? It's actually not that difficult, but you get complacent. You get used to just clicking a button, and then shit works, and then now it didn't. So we're gonna go into this YouTube studio while I talk here. So what are we doing today? Well, the first thing is there's some crazy weirdness happened before. So I've had since I started, I decided to stream I stream every weekend usually. Yeah, I got to delete this one that was 6 seconds long, which it was longer than that, but delete it forever. Yes, I understand. So I started up my computer weird. When I started Visual Studio, it just croaked. It just sat here doing not responding, and I was saying this 10 seconds ago. Sometimes you just gotta wait with Windows, like when it's not responding. That doesn't actually mean that it's dead, and you should just X out of it and make it crash. Sometimes you just gotta wait it out. That's just how it is. And so I was waiting out for like 2 minutes. I waited for it to get its act together, and it did not get its act together. I'm gonna restart this thing too, I think. Let's see if that will do anything. So I X'd out of it, and before that I had tested the game and the game worked fine. But then after that, this was missing, like it was not assigned. And I have a feeling that what's going on here is that it has something to do with me uploading this .godot file. Once again, this .godot file is such a pain in my ass because there's something else going on. There's a problem and with the .godot file, and it's part of this whole thing. There's a whole thing going on here with all these other errors, these 30 errors. It's part of the .godot file. It's basically I think it's a bug in Godot. We're gonna activate this thing, and now that will work. And then we're gonna activate this thing. Yeah, that's the one, but you're not doing it. Do it. Refresh. Auto find and activate. Why aren't you doing it? Well, then it was even more weird is that when I signed into, or when I opened up OBS, I was like, it's weird. So I have a, activity panel on the right side. It was for my other account, which I use on my other account, which I use on my other computer. So that was really strange. And I remember in another stream, somebody followed or something. I didn't get a notification. I was like, what's going on there? So I must have at some point stop all streams. No. Select live stream. Here we go. Already added. It says activate stream. Why can't I see this shit? Why? Why isn't it working? I wonder if I hate doing the test on YouTube. This is a great start, by the way. I appreciate the pain that I'm doing here. This is a great start. Let's see if that comes over. It does, even though it's busted on my side. Great. Well, it works. Okay. So anyways, this thing crashed. So I think this is related to the .godot folder and me having to upload it. I mean, that's a different thing, but so I thought, well, maybe we should just tackle that. Maybe we should just, and I was like, I don't want to do that though. But maybe now I'm rethinking it because wait. Okay. No. I don't know how it worked then. Maybe I didn't notice the bugs. This was the thing we got rid of last time. And right at the end of the at the end of the stream, we got rid of this V-box because we had an additional V-box. What does this thing do? It shows, this is actually an H-box now. But what is this actually showing? We're running it, so it's gonna be weird, but. Oh, I know what it is. So this is for, yeah. Okay, so we can use this H-box. This is, some people don't get this, is what that is. So we can just change this to an H-box. So that is not that weird, though. It's weird that I noticed the bug. I looked at it and I was clicking around. This is going to be... This one. What? Not a B-box. Beatbox? B-box. H-box. Come on, man. All right. Saturday morning. Saturday morning. Why does this look like this? I don't think I'll be, yeah. Okay, we get it. All right, so what is 2D Force? 2D, I didn't even do my intro because I was so thrown off by the chaos that a simple, now I don't even know if what I said in this stream versus what I said in my 30-second stream. The problem with you keep stopping and starting streams is that it also sends like a notification to somebody, to the people, the followers, to somebody every time. So they just get blasted by notifications, and it's kind of dumb as well. All right, there we go. Let's do this again. And then we'll test that. Man, I really do need to fix this Godot file, though. So on my other game, it didn't work. It's busted. Oh, you know why it's busted? Because this is visible. On my other game that I was fucking around with, which is like a hex game, because I like hexes. I'm a big hex fan. On my other game, it also has this problem with the errors. So it's something I'm doing. All right, so that's working now. It's something I'm doing, and this is, see, these are, oh. Except that title needs to go. That title's above it. It is above it. What happens if I put that title in there? I think then we're back to this. So we fixed this small problem with some layout last time. This overlapped this a tiny bit, and I didn't like it, and it turned out there was like an extra V-box that we didn't need. If I put this down here, though, what happens? Well, that's not going to work. Where the fuck did it just go? There we go. Oh, and then I was thinking about like maybe make it a maybe make it like a panel. We could add then we would just put the panel in here. I guess we can do that and see what happens. I forgot that it was almost working. I think I noticed this part at the end of last stream too. So this would be under the right. We would add a panel container. And then we would move this to here, I believe. So that's what that other V-box was doing. It was holding these things together. It's interesting that it put it on top of each other. which I think, did I delete it? Because I think right at the end I was like, yeah, we don't need this, delete it. But it looks like we do need it. So the panel container is useless, but then if we put the VBox in, for some reason the VBox, man, it's always such a pain. Because this is perfect. I mean, we could set this to turn on and off. Whatever this, if this is visible, then make this visible, but it's this kind of, I'd rather have it all in one spot. What does an actual panel look like? When I first started streaming this with Godot, everyone said it had to be a panel container, not a panel. And I remember asking, and no one really gave me a good reasoning between why it was a panel container versus a panel. And I think they look different is one of the things. Not that I can tell here. I think you can set a panel. See, this actually is acting differently than the other thing. But it looks like we just have to use a VBox. So that's what that other VBox is for. I was about to delete just that panel, but that would delete everything. Yeah, so I think with a panel, I don't know. It feels like a panel and panel container do the same thing. All right, so we do need to add a VBox. We have to put that VBox back. So many VBoxes. But this is still an HBox? Yes. So this is going to be the inventory. Yeah, then we'll have to move this inventory. So we're basically putting this back. I was saying this before, last stream. Subordinates. What I was saying was sometimes, oh, look, it immediately causes problem. Just by adding, there's nothing even inside of it. It's just because it's too wide, it's too tall. Whoops. I was saying last stream that sometimes when you, so my game is basically, get out of here. Now what the fuck? My game is basically UI completely, the whole, like 90% of the game is just UI stuff, right? And I've noticed, so I've had to recreate some, I've gotten to parts and I've been like, this doesn't look right. Let's just, let's fix this one thing. And to fix that one thing, it was actually turned out better to just recreate the whole page. Now, like this page is massive, so it has like tons and tons. So this is the population description panel. It's got like tons and tons of shit. So it'd be kind of a pain in the ass to recreate it. But it was earlier on. Sometimes it was easier just to recreate the panel. And what I noticed would happen is a lot of these little weird issues would go away. You could recreate it almost identically and you would get rid of some, for some reason, like it's remembering settings or something. And it's remembering things like you would, like, who knows what the fuck it's remembering. It shouldn't be remembering this stuff. So, but it would be like the size or something. Like the size would be set in here somewhere because that's what it was expanded to the last time. And so if you're moving things around, it's still remembering that size, even though it should be expanding out because you have it on fill or whatever. And so you could go through and like manually try to figure out what each one was, but it was easier to blow away everything and then just recreate it because it would fix all the expanses and stuff. And it was weird that that was happening so regularly when it so this size, I can't even adjust, right? Like it doesn't have the like reset back to, sorry, you can try to type in here, but you can't. But they often have a, where do I, let me find something, this little button. So you'd have to go through and like hit this button a lot of times because it would remember what you were setting. Anyway, I hate the UI stuff, but I got to get used to it because like I said, 90% of the fucking game is UI stuff. Okay, so this has both things in it. It looks like it's not. And see, this layout is working. Yeah, I mean, it's not how I wanted. So what it is we made this a little squishier. But anyways, we need to go back to here. We can rename this whole thing. Joker, how's it going? This is a great start. It seems like someone's mimicking me. How's all the crocodiles? I found this video of underground crocodiles. Everyone should Google it. It was quite strange. Underground crocodiles. It seemed surreal. There we go. Surreal. Yeah, maybe tomorrow. I know I keep kicking it down the road, but maybe tomorrow I'll tackle the dot. See, now we got more. The Godot file. Oh, look at this. Now my OBS is messed up. Yeah, that's those one errors that no one knows how to fix. I think it's just a Godot issue. I think it's a bug, a Godot bug. But I still want to fix it. You know what I mean? So we need to put this back in here. We need to run this. We're nice odd number 35. So I was working on my other game too. Okay, no, that's because this is open. I was working on another game and it had the same issue and less errors because it's a smaller game. And I was able to figure out that it was something to do. It was something to do with. Let me look at this guy real quick to make sure this looks right. All right, so that's right. And then we pick some random dude. All right, that looks right. What happens if we do recruit aid? Oh, it actually popped that up. Okay, great. All right, so on my other game, it's a lot smaller because it's an earlier form, and there's actually like each little area is broken into its own scene. So like you go from scene to scene, to get to the different parts of the game. This game, everything's one giant scene because that's just how it is. And the other one, there's like little parts. So it was easier I could run each scene and see if I got those bugs. There's only 4 scenes. And so one of them, I narrowed it down to this dragging and dropping. And so what I did is I made it get child instead of drag and drop. And then I deleted the .godot file. And that solved the problem. And I stopped getting the errors. And I was like, so that's the problem, is dragging and dropping shit in the inspector. Then I continued working on that game for a little bit, like 20 minutes. And suddenly the errors came back. So I was like, oh, huh. But I definitely think it had something to do with dragging and dropping. Because it was less, sorry, let me rephrase it. The errors came back, but it was less. But as we've seen multiple times here, the error numbers are not constant. So, but I think it's dragging and dropping into arrays and dictionaries. These ones seem fine. And if we delete the .godot file, it will suddenly lose. It will lose a bunch of the arrays. It forgets what the arrays are. So there's some sort of information being saved in the .godot file of what's dragged and dropped somewhere, which is bad. Not all, but just some into arrays and stuff. I don't know where you would find that. But, I mean, you can look in the .godot file, but where it saves that stuff. But I think that's part of these errors. And actually, I just replied before I started streaming to someone who said, how do you fucking test this thing? All right, he didn't say fuck. But how do you fix this error? And I asked, are you dragging and dropping stuff into arrays and dictionaries? Because I'm curious if it's happening. If he says yes, then it makes me think that, once again, narrowing it down. And I have a test Godot project for the deleting the .godot file. Definitely inside somewhere it's saving. Not all of them, it's just the arrays So it's weird. It's somebody did a weird workaround. I know that's what it is. Someone said, "Oh, you know, you get errors if you do this. We'll just save it to the .godot file." Everyone always has that, right? All right. What were we doing? Now that we've officially started, probably close my passwords here. All right. If a hero is recruited, no, we need to. This is later. This is like right here. I added a couple of things to the project. We need to stop the recruitment process if a hero moves. Not. This is after. Did you finish your Saturday video? Yesterday I was in somebody's chat and I was adding you, at New Joker on Twitch, and you weren't responding. And the streamer said he's probably finishing his video, and it was like Friday. It's like last minute. If the hero is recruiting moves and the recruitment stops. So what I'm talking about here, we already have it. Well, let's test it. Created by critters. Well, we'll get back. We'll get to that. We'll get to this. But we're going to do this, and I added another thing in when we'll get to, no, I guess I'll just talk about it real quick right now. So let's say, I got to wait for something. Okay. So when we go to the recruitment thing, we put this here and we start recruiting. This person, who hopefully there's somebody that we have recruited here. I don't know if we have failed. We failed. We failed our recruitment. This person probably sucks at recruiting. All right, so we recruited Larry Parker. So Larry Parker's in here, but he's not actually, he's a subordinate right now. He's a subordinate, but he isn't actually like part of this guy's army yet. He's got stuff he's got to do first, right? So what if the player suddenly moved, was spawn and then move, right? And then starts moving over to here. This guy needs to get over to him. He needs to, when he's done with this thing, he needs to march over here and follow this guy over. And it's actually kind of like Stellaris. I was thinking, I've been playing Stellaris lately. The idea is very similar. Once again, I think they're parallel ideas. Sometimes that happens. But, in Stellaris, you have a fleet, you build more fleet, and the little fleet guys move along the map and catch up to you. That's what we want to do here, and then we want them to move along the map. We're not going to do any of that move along the map shit right now, though. We're going to do that much later. So what we're going to do instead is just have it not work. You chilled too hard. Pass it, falling asleep and watching things. I used to do that all the time. I think it's great. I used to, at least, and then I stopped. I don't know what happened. You deleted the old one? What are you on? You're doing the 5.5.1 RC? Is it release 4.41? Isn't it 4.5? So anyways, that was a lot of talking to explain that we're gonna do this later. So let's first test firing subordinates. That's the first thing. We can do that right now. So we have, well, let's have him hire 2 people, and which he did. We moved him and he continued to recruit here, which is actually what we want him to do, but let's make sure that this worked. Carlos or Carol? Carol. It's kind of hard to read that. Carol James has been recruited. There's no indicator of that, but that's what happened. Oh. Did you already mention that to me? What does the maintenance release have to say? Godot 4.41 maintenance release. Maybe they fixed their problem. What does it say? 3 days ago. That was a pretty quick maintenance release. Fix invalid task ID, fix copying a node with a signal. I want to stay on the stable version. GD script. I guess I should upgrade. Like right to the second. I'm not joking. Let's close this. This is actually one of the huge benefits I feel like that Godot has, and that is you can just upgrade, and it's not an hour-long event. You know, which is Unity. It's an hour-long event where it's kind of pain. Yeah, exactly. Just take. I think that's a huge thing. You know, we were talking Monglo, I think his name was. He was saying that he wanted a lighter weight Godot, and I was kind of surprised by that because I feel like Godot is already so lightweight. But I was thinking about it, and I can kind of understand where. So he was saying, and I'm speaking for him, which means is probably bad, you know, because he could be like, "What is he talking? I didn't say that." So, um, what he was saying is what I think he was saying was that he wants like a very base Godot where you would have like a list of extensions that you would click on. So let's say you wanted to do hex maps. So the tile map would be a thing you would click on, and it would add tile maps to Godot for you. You know, like what? Because it's already in Godot right now. Tile maps are. I need to close all this stuff. But people who aren't using that shouldn't have it in their Godot. Like you should opt into that stuff. So you should have like basically a giant list of features, and then you would click on the stuff that you wanted. So if you wanted to write your own tile map stuff and you didn't want to use the one that was already in Godot, you would unclick it, you know, and you'd write your own, or you would use it, or the default would be very, very lightweight. But I feel like it's already so lightweight. Is that really necessary? I already have this open over here. I was also thinking, for me, I want to use like a lot of. I've actually noticed a lot of the C# Godot guys say this. They'll say like if you run into, they'll look at my code, they'll look at my shitty code, and they'll say, "Why are you using this part of Godot? You should write your own." And I feel like I want to use every feature possible in Godot. Like if there's I keep waiting, not waiting, I guess, hoping for the 3D hex part. And one of the responses someone said was like, why don't you just write your own 3D hex thing? You'll learn more about 3D hexes if you did that. And I'm like, I don't want to. I want to use what the thing has. Can you just disable the features? Is it like a checkbox though, or is it like you got to go in and do something crazy? You probably would need internet connectivity for the. There's your next plugin. Checkboxes this disable stuff. Then you gotta have another plugin though. All right, 4.41 stable. Let's see if we can open Visual Studio without it crashing. Let's do it this way because this is the way I was trying to. Let's click on this. Casper, how's it going? Yeah, I didn't know that there was a maintenance release. I thought they were just working on like their dev crap. I don't know, it's not crap. Their dev stuff. So I was like, because maintenance is different. I still want to be on the stable one. All right, I'm going to click this even though I'm going to regret it later. We need to fix the README. Need to fix the README. Yeah, the start of this stream was quite a nightmare. That is start 3 times. I mean, this is the 3rd attempt here. What is this called? Do they call it stable? Yep. 1.1. Yeah, when you run this, actually it's not this. Patiently waiting for Godot, right? Let's close this one. I was seeing this, and so I was ignoring. The minute I saw that it was Deb, I was like, no, I don't want to be a part of that. I mean, I was on the dev part for so long, and I don't want it anymore. Just whine like a baby. All right, we've updated that. Let's close this thing. Back to what we were doing. Thank you, Joker. Test firing subordinates. So let's hire like 3 people, then we'll set it down to 0, and then we'll do it again, and we'll set it down to 2. And I watched, actually it was that creature person, created by critter person. He was debugging something. That's when I was adding you, new Joker. He was debugging something, and I could definitely see that. I mean, I agreed the whole time that I needed to learn more about how to debug, but I could absolutely see the benefits from what that guy was doing. I was like, oh my god, why haven't I learned this? All right, so we recruited 3 people. You can't. So you finish it, but you can't decide which one to use. I already forgot. Are you already a C# guy? You are, but Python. What about Python? I can't remember that part. Let's make sure these people. Okay, so we got Linda, Bruce, and Carl. Trying to think if I know anyone named Bruce. All right, so we're gonna make this back to 0. We're gonna close that, and then we're gonna see we don't get any bugs. All right, and so it fired everyone immediately, which is what we want. We don't, for firing, it should happen. Well, when I say immediately, it should happen at 4 a.m. Every day. You just get rid of the people. Now the question is, what happens to them? We're gonna have to figure out what. Excuse me. They're gonna have to like go into the county. Huh. We'll have to deal with that. So the thing I'm thinking about is like, what happens if you recruit a bunch of people here, then you move to here and you fire them all? Are they supposed to travel back to their home place, or are they supposed to now live here? Because that could be one way of moving troops around. What is the pros and cons of for you? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying tell me the pros and cons of Python versus C# or GD script, but like what is holding your decision back? So this happens all the time where I'm like, we'll kick this one thing down the road, and then I'm like, as I sit there and look at it, I'm like, oh, we can't kick it down the road. Create a new profile. What is this for? What reference is this for? So this work. Let's test it again though with like just firing some of the people. I'll see. Is it a party? What are we doing? Editor. Manage editor features. Current profile, none. Available profiles, create profile. Killed by dev. No. Joker test profile. There we go. Oh, this is for the thing where you could uncheck stuff. So it already has that. Interesting. And so would it I don't want to deal with this game because something will break, but would it let's say you unchecked HTTP request. That's a good one because that would never be used currently. Like you're never going to use any HTTP stuff. Does it not load that? Like, what would this make it faster? Like, if you unchecked 3D, would this have little to no effect? Remove profile. Goodbye, Joker test profile. I don't want to do it while on this game because what happens if it fucks something up? I don't want to have a catastrophic problem. I got too many catastrophic problems today. What am I doing? Testing, firing just some of the people. So let's hire, whatever, 5 people. We'll chill. I really got to fix that button being more. I should have called it croc test or something. I got to figure out what to do with the. We're just waiting for the hired 5 people or something. Oh, what about this? No, it won't matter. Okay, so he's hired 3. He's trying to get. So this is definitely a problem. We need to fix this sooner than later. So what I was saying the other time was that like this number of subordinates doesn't make sense because it's not. Like this should just say something else. Like number of subordinates to hire towards. So that has been a concern of mine, Casper, that one day they'll drop C# support. So one of the things I was kind of impressed by, though it doesn't help me in any way, which that's all that matters, right? If it helps me or not, is they did say they were going to support Godot 3 forever. So that is a good, and it's not, so let me rephrase that. They didn't say forever. It looks like this worked. Oh, I didn't really test it very well. Let's hire some more people. Let's just hire and fire all day long here. They didn't say forever. They said until no one uses it anymore. So that is it is a good thing. There's also on their GitHub, an argument. That's the only thing that we can call it is an argument. There's an argument going on that it may have been closed, like stopped, making C# an extension of it. So it would be an extension like the C++ extension or whatever. There was another extension, Java or something. Let's see if we've hired anyone. Stephanie. Look at all this crap. Look at all this crap. Everyone's learning how to scavenge. Just trying to get a couple of people hired here. Here we go. 4. Let's go. Let's go to 2. And see what happens now. There we go. All right, so that's working. No bugs. So yes, I have that same fear. We got requests. So in 2019, they got requests from single developers working on 2D games that they would like to disable the 3D editor and nodes from the create dialog. They just add clutter, which yeah. So maybe next time I talk to Munglo, I'll point that out to him that you can disable stuff. It isn't all required. I agree. So I think what they were talking about is for when, there's some games and stuff that are made and still being developed in Godot 3, and the person, like it would be too much of to upgrade to 4 would be too much of a horrible. I bet you there's still a bunch because I noticed. Let's look here. Godot issues. I noticed recently that there was an issue. What is it? They on 3.2, 3.3? I was looking at something and I was like, "Wow, this is strange." Oh no, I was like, "This is a strange request," and I was like, "Wait, this is for 3.3." Here we go. So here's like a 3.5. So yeah, there's people are still using it. Does this occur with the old stuff? So the problem with this though is it does fracture their like work. But so like I said, it doesn't help me any, but I do appreciate the fact that they do want to keep that around. There is going to be some point where they have to stop, but all right, this works. We can close this ticket or whatever, this issue. We fixed this earlier. I mean, we'll check again. Why the fuck not, right? This guy sucks at recruiting, so we're gonna have to wait 300 years. And we have so many things filling up the logs. This seemed like a good idea. It shows who would they learn, but no, it's fills up this too much. Oh, really? Huh. So you could have much smaller file size to share out to the world. Man, you suck at this. What is your leader? 7? No wonder. Let's restart this. I clicked that about 17 times right there, so who knows? That's gonna. I feel like I've mentioned this before many times, but I feel like optimizing file size is something that no one gives a shit about anymore. The other thing I was thinking about is these buttons. So a long time ago, someone said they didn't really know how my game was set up, but they said you should implement a tick system for the time, not use the engine time. I'm adding the part in about not using the engine time. So how I control the time is I have the engine. I'm speeding up the engine times 8. And that's part of the problem with these arrows. They're very touchy because they're 8 times because of the engine. So I was thinking about that recently, like maybe I do need to implement some sort of tick system. I mean, I have a tick system, but it's for the clock. But maybe we need everything to be, I don't know how you would even do that. Okay, all we were testing is to make sure that this worked. Yeah. That's true. The size, you have like a very simple program and it's huge. But Unity, it would be 2 gigs. We're shit talking Unity Day. That's what I should have put my. That was my title. Shit talk Unity Day. Um, yeah, I struggled when I first picked it, but now I'm all in on the C sharp. And I really, if they suddenly stop supporting it. Anyway, I think that's what I was mentioning. There's an argument about that on here. I think it's on. This works, by the way. We can stop this. I think it's actually uh, an issue here. Godot. I wonder if it's still here. There's another argument, and this one I agree with, very much so, which is get rid of GD script. Just get rid of it. C sharp as an extension. I don't know if I'll be able to find it. I'll never be able to find it. It was just something I stumbled across one day where the people were very passionate about the C sharp argument. Remove from Godot. I don't. Hey, look, there's mine. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I found it before. And there's that. It's when I first switched over. I wonder whatever happened with that. So there was a guy on Reddit. Wonder if I could find that again. This is like years ago. I can't remember what he was talking about. So he was like a hardcore C sharp guy. And well, hardcore developer. Like hardcore isn't the right term. Very knowledgeable developer. Optimization. Well, now I'm typoing stuff. I don't know how I'd find this either because I can't remember what. C plus. Plus. It would have been a couple of years ago, and I would have clicked on it before. Yeah, I don't know how I'd find it, but anyways, there was a guy right when I switched over. He also switched over from Unity, and he was like, some higher end developer. He was looking at the C sharp wrappers. That's what he kept talking about. Godot C sharp wrappers. Reddit. This is 1 year ago. It would have been longer ago than that, I think. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, he looked under the engine, I'm gonna call it, for the C sharp. So he had he was doing something, and he said, he was doing something, and he looked under how the C sharp implementation was used, like how it worked, because he thought it was too slow, and for what he was doing, it was too slow for what he was doing. Which, it was in the millisecond, but it was still too slow. So he looked under it, and so the wrapper was like wrapping C sharp and converting it to GD script, and then like converting it to C sharp. and he was like appalled. He was appalled by, and I'm paraphrasing from my memory from 2 years ago, so I could be wrong about what I remember. Not the appalled part. So he wrote this big post about like it should be this, and everyone was just like, well, then put in a PR. Put in a PR to have him fix it. And he's like, I already fixed it in mine. And then he's like, then I started looking at other things, and there was better ways to do them. And everyone in the comments was just like, put in you got to write it yourself. And he's like, but I don't know if I want to take that responsibility to go through the C# wrappers and fix them so that they're faster and they're set up better. And so he actually even wrote like a email to the head of the Godot project, Juan, I think his name is, and they like had a conversation in public. You know, it wasn't like a behind the scenes thing where they were talking about it, and they like soothed the guy's fears, and he also like they also like pointed out some things that he didn't notice, and like it was kind of wrapped up somewhat to where positively. But I always wonder, like, whatever happened to that guy? Did he continue to use Godot? And then has he been putting in PRs? I missed your post there, Joker, that you don't think they would stop supporting C#? With the C++ Casper, it's like an extension you can add in, and then you can just use the C++. I've never added an extension, though, so I don't know how that works. Next season, not only maintain one build. I think they should just get rid of GD script. Just get rid of it. What's the point of it? It's pointless. It just fragments the community. All right, we're going to talk about Dominions. Dominions 5 is the Dominions that I play a lot. Well, I don't play it a lot. I love Dominions. It's a video game. Loved it forever. But they've been releasing basically the same game every 5 years or so. They go, Dominions 4 is out, Dominions 3 is out, and it's basically the same game. It has a few updates or whatever that are pretty minor. So this, and I always bought it because I wanted to support the devs, but they don't give you deals or anything. It's like the game's $50 or $40 every time you buy it. And since it's this last time, I said I'm not buying Dominion 6. I'm going to just stay on Dominions 5 because it's close enough, right? There's no point. Like the updates, sure, they're fine, but they should probably be like a DLC, like a $2 DLC or something. Instead, you got to buy the whole game again. I don't really want to support that attitude. And I'd like, it's fine if you want to, and if you want to support the devs, like that's totally fine. I'm not like, this is my ethical stance is just for me. Like people can do whatever they want. Someone did this whole diatribe, same thing I just said. Someone in chat was like, the big problem with that though is that fragments the multiplayer community, where if you want to play a multiplayer game, because there's like a Discord where you can find the multiplayer stuff, there's now like 3 versions. You know, some people are on 3, some are 4, some are on 5, some are on 6, and some of the people can't afford to buy the new version, so it keeps breaking out more and more. And that's kind of the same thing with Godot, where it's breaking out more and more. Like there's a C#, there's a GD, there's a 3.3 GD, and it's just like, how do they support all of this stuff? And it's a lot of support to, like, they gotta focus at some point. C++, that extension's a mess. Make a rebuild of GD extension anytime you make... Oh. Huh. There's an extension that was bringing CPP to actual use in... Whenever I see CPP, I think of communist Russia. The Soviet Union. It's not. I'm going to copy this link and post it in my other thing here. Extension libraries, I'm going to bring it over here now that I can see that it's safe. It's not porn. Um, Series of extension libraries for Godot 4 game engine that brings fully featured C++ scripting. It looks like, I don't know why, it's just it doesn't even look like whatever. When was this last updated? 2 weeks ago. Look at that. It has 299 stars. Oh, can you do it in the actual editor? No, you can. Huh. Oh no, this is no, this is in the editor. Huh. Casper, do you know C++ as well? What would be your preferred language? How about that? Let's go the other direction. This goes for everyone in chat. What would be, if you could use Godot, but with whatever language, what would you pick? All right. If the hero is recruiting moves, so Joker, I kind of agree. I know you're joking about with C++, why not remove C#? I kind of, and like Casper says, like the performance, like, is C++ really that hard? It can't be that difficult. Like, everyone acts like it's impossible to learn, but there's how many people in the world use C++? Like 50 million? I don't know. Just pulling numbers out of my ass. If a hero's so there's let's do the easy stuff. I want easy stuff right now. Let's turn this into a button. This is easy. Or easier, I hope. And we gotta fix that thing. And I'm gonna take a break in a second. So it's not on this list, but what we'll do next here is I just want to rename this. I don't like that this says, I think the easiest way here is just rename this to like number. So the problem, this is actually a good example of why there should be number of subordinates, which is this number. And the reason why we'd want one is so you don't have to count them, because there's actually a bunch of them here. And then there's oh, you know what we could do is we could just do it like the resources, like I was talking about, where it's just a slash. You know, like a number and then a slash, how many you're trying to get to. Yeah, let's just do that. So what we would do is, this might be really easy. Maybe. Subordinates button. What about API docs and integration with Godot, auto-generated signal functions and connecting them, scripts, templates to use, even with C# they're partially only implemented. Are they only partially? Oh, like, I don't know. Are they? Does that auto-generate signal functions? Those don't. Oh, you're talking about like when you go and you want to connect with one, you got to write it in let's pretend. I think I know what you're talking about here. Like if you were to connect this, you would want this to be auto-generated in your script, is what you're saying. That would be nice, honestly. Not with this ugly ass way they did it with underscores. But you can actually change this. You can change this to what its thing is, but that would be nice. Because then, yeah, no, I like that idea. See, the chat is filled with good ideas. Does it? GD script you can just connect? I didn't even know it did that. You can just go connect and then it will auto-generate this thing. Oh, look, there's a little thing right here. Was this always here? No, this has to be new. Bumblebee, how's it going? No, I know I have advanced on. I'm talking about this little thing. This little report. This little whatever this is. This is kind of a weird thing. Look, they have the same problem. It's over. It's because it's the same. It's the same thing as I use. You know, it's the scroll box. It's a scroll box. Yeah, that would be nice. Bumblebite, we're just talking about what programming language you would, if you had a choice, you would use with Godot. Like if you just any programming language, like fantasy. Well, I mean a real programming language. But all right, I'm going to take a quick break though. Let me throw up my break timer, and I will be back in less than 5 minutes. All right, I'm back. Let me turn off my break timer and let me start my music that you guys can't hear. And let me scroll back. Haskell? Haskell? Is that a programming language? Haskell? I don't know what that is. Oh, here we go. It is a language. Purely functional advanced. It's not that's. Well, are other ones not purely functional? Control with over memory without garbage collection. You hear JAI is really good and supposed to be released late this year. I wrote some apps with Qt. I helped someone with some Qt stuff. I didn't like do that. I did some program, but it doesn't count. It doesn't count with the Qt stuff because I was just copying and pasting. I didn't know what it was doing. You know what I mean? Like, you find it, I'll just copy and paste this and hit this button and it works. I feel like this is very simplistic. It's normal naming convention makes it very large line-wise. It does get, especially with me, with my naming stuff. One or two methods of a condition is instant. A lot of error in the code. I don't think I've ever heard that term before. Following MSD and standard convention. What is MS? Is this what I've always saying? Like, what's the standard? MSD and standard convention. I'm always like, so I notice like some people use underscores and I fucking hate underscores and other people don't. And since like ChatGPT just steals everyone's code, it sometimes gives me underscores and sometimes doesn't. Squib, how's it going? Language guide. Tools can help your team enforce your conventions. Wait, I want to enforce these conventions though. Nice. Thank you for lurking. I like lurkers. See, we're back to the readability thing we were talking about that other day, where I feel like some of this stuff to me is not readable, and it's probably because I'm, a noob. It's the ones with the question marks. I'm trying to think where I used one recently. It just looks like garbage to me. I have to put a note in above what it says it does. Like here, this thing is kind of an example. Like, what the fuck does this thing do? Okay, I know it's ordering this by skill level. All right. But it's still like, what are these dots? Come on, man. But yes, probably if you're an experienced one or experienced developer, it wouldn't be what? Prefer rostering literals to escape sequences or verbatim strings. Use Pascal case for primary constructors. Constructor parameters on record types. How long is this page? This page is pretty. Delegates. I don't see any underscores in here. Because I think underscores is how it was used. They were used a bunch and then they got rid of it. New operator. Well, what about the thing? The brackets. Use lambda expression to find an event handler that you don't need to remove later. See, this looks like gibberish to me. You grow out of this as soon as you can read lambda. See, that's the problem. It looks like this is exactly the problem. Is I look at that and I go, what? Um, like S and E. Why? Why? And S, why not make that tell me what this is? Uh, Joker, that's quite a list of PowerShell. I mean, I guess PowerShell is an important thing. Depends on your job, I guess. I can use PowerShell if I can find the commands on the internet, which I generally can. Actually, Microsoft's pretty good with that. I'm surprised. Um, Process of grouping or wrapping. Encapsulation in C# is the process of grouping or wrapping data variables and methods to a single use, and also known as a class. It ensures that the internal state of an object cannot be accessed directly by any other external members. Man. All right. What were we doing? We're gonna do something easy. What wasn't that though? We're gonna fix this thing. So we're gonna make this a slash, the actual number, then the number that the player has put in here. So I was thinking when I was outside, there's probably an easier way to find this phrase. Number, stupid underscores, see? Is that what that not says? That says number of? Oh, it's typed into the actual thing here. It's typed in here. So this is going to be in here. We're going to have to add in a label here. Which is we'll put it right above here just for private label number of subordinates. And then we'll build this, we'll drag it over. I was thinking about something when I was outside having a smoke, and I couldn't, and I immediately forgot. It was something to do with this whole thing. It wasn't this big list of errors. We're ignoring those. We're gonna ignore those for now. Oh, I didn't name this with my own naming convention. You can't write long lines. I think I've lost the thread of what you guys were talking about. All right, put this thing back here. Number of subordinates, which is all right. It's then we're gonna go into here where we were. Yeah, so this is also no. This is update subordinates. Where are we putting this number? It's this spin box. We're filling in this spin box. Oh, it's right here. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to go number of subordinates label text equals $. This thing's going to go in here. No, it's not. It's going to go phrase. We need to translate this. Actually, I think TR will work this time. Squigs first, though. Phrase number underscore of subordinates. No more underscores. And then we're going to do population data dot hero subordinates count. I'm missing something here. I'm missing, this is the problem. This is the problem right here. There we go. But then down here, we're gonna then put a space. There's just gonna be a slash right down here. That's confusing. We'll just put the slash right here and then another space. Double quotes. Yeah, I was, there's some, oh, do I have it at the end? Yes. All right. Didn't you change that Joker in your thing that everything is airs now? All right, let's see if this works. It works. It's ugly. Man, it's really ugly. How was our other shit this ugly? Yes. I think the answer is yes. Maybe we get rid of this space right here. So that's what I'm doing. That's actually like, man, we're gonna have a beautification time where this stuff is like really ugly currently, but it like this is yeah. But at some point, we're gonna take the time to make it look better because it's pretty bad. So we need a couple of recruits here to test this out. That's probably enough. See, that's still ugly though. I mean, it's there has to be some limit. All right, this will be better. No, not there. We want it to be here. And also, if it was up to me, I'd dwell on the craft for too long, so I have to like keep moving forward, get the stuff working. Otherwise, I would sit. Like I messed with that stupid overlap for an hour or something yesterday. Then at the start of the stream too. All right, let's do this one more time. Yeah, I think that's better, though it isn't consistent. No, it is consistent. That's what I did over here. All right, one more time. Let's put this up really high, and then let's have this guy sit here. See, this was easy. Capulation helps, does wonder for structure, and I'm using inheritance, abstracts, and see, I don't know any of that stuff. I gotta learn. I think the next thing on my list though is definitely debugging. After watching Created by Critters, so he was doing. I know you guys probably already know how to do all this stuff, but he was putting breakpoints or something, and he was following along a variable. He would like hit play to go to the next part, and it would. And he'd be like, oh, this variable is updated. And I was like, Jesus Christ, if I knew how to do that at this point, it would have saved me so much time. All right, so this works. Number of subordinates, 1 of 13. It's ugly as fuck, but who cares, right? So now that is done. Let's go this thing. So this is going to be a button. So what we can do is if we click on this, we would open up the description panel for Martin Bell. Martin Bell, though, is this thing saved anywhere? We're going to need to save Martin Bell, like his population data in here so that it knows. And I don't think it is. Let's look at when it instantiates that thing. No, so it's not saving this anywhere. So for here, we probably need to make a script so we can just save this. I'm trying to think if there's a better way to do this. I think we just got to change this. Instead of it being a button, we just add a script to this, the subordinate button, which I think we had, and I deleted it because I decided I didn't need it, but now we need it again. So let's do that. Do we have this thing open? We do. Gibberish. Perfect. Add a script. This is going to be subordinate button UI scenes no. Yes. I'm going to have to look up what encapsulation is now. In C#, encapsulation. It will figure it out here. Encapsulation is defined as the wrapping up of data and information under a single unit. It is the mechanism that binds together the data and the functions that manipulate them. In contrast, encapsulation is a protective shield that prevents the data from being accessed by the code outside of the shield. So here's an example. Of course, I'm skipping 3 important bullet points. In the above program, the class demo encap, this one, is encapsulated as the variables are declared as private. To access these private variables, we use the name and age accessor, which contain the get and set method. To retrieve and set the values, accessors are defined as public so that they can access other classes. I do this sometimes. I noticed that someone, all of their variables were getter setters, and I didn't know why. Oh my god, my level of it goes away. I feel like I'm like, man, I'm really learning C#, and then I learn that I don't know shit. All right, so I'm sorry, I got to scroll all the way back up. I would argue that encapsulation helps. It does wonders for structure. Now I use inherent. Yeah. I want to use that interface that I wrote. I'm looking forward to it. But I don't know enough. I enforce strong typing with everything being errors. Right? Object-oriented programming, right, Squib? That's what I'm hopefully doing. Sure, you get errors when you build before running, but I have errors immediately. So your errors, though, Joker, you are talking about the thing where you set everything to errors, right? Dev cycle over years, functional, OP, back to functional server, list, OP, actually, OP, and raw, cloud workers, serverless. Man, I think I'm on the first one. It's barely functional though. I think some of this stuff, so some of my code, I'm like, this is good. And some of it, I'm just like, this is dog shit. So I think that's part of actually chat's really good at helping me with like, I'm trying to put it like nicely saying what I don't know. Bringing me back down. Oh, fuck, I gotta do a namespace. But I also was noticing that now that I've been watching a couple of other, like I was watching Bumblebite too, stream. But now that I'm watching other people stream, I have so much more like, I can look and be like, oh my god, I don't even know what the fuck they're doing. And that helps me go, okay, I need to learn like whatever they're doing. Yeah, so I think that is definitely, and like the namespaces. So when I was talking to that created by critters, it's not creatures, it's critters, created by critters guy. He was talking about debugging was easier if you broke apart the different parts of your game or whatever project you're working on. So in my game, there would be this part, the world map, um, would be one part, and then the UI would be another part, right? And then you can, because if they're decoupled, you can test them. It's easier to test because they're not they're not fucking each other up. And that I was like, yeah, that sounds great, but my shit's so intertwined. And then I would start thinking about it though, and I was like, it's kind of, so you know how like I just half-assed the namespace, and what the fuck is this? Just put everything in that one namespace. If I started trying to use the namespace part of C# better, I could actually break apart those two parts better. It'd be easier to break them apart if I was using the namespace stuff correctly, and then I could. They would. Anyways, you guys get what I'm saying. Oh, here's a getter setter. See, everything fails gracefully for you. What is this? Polymorphism. Isn't that a spell in D&D? I'm kidding, of course. Polymorphism. In computer science. Very bright page. Polymorphism is the use of one symbol to represent multiple different types. In object-oriented programming, polymorphism is the provision of one interface to entities of different data types. This means nothing to me. All right. It's once again, it's back to the thing. It's back to the thing where sometimes I kick stuff down the road that I need to learn because I don't feel like it. And in reality, I should have like done some tutorials. So there are things that I'm like, oh, this is exactly what I need to know, and then I do a bunch of tutorials, and then I never use that stuff. But there's other things where I think I need to figure out how they work. So debugging, I think I need to really move up on the list because it's slowing me down. Like me debugging the way I currently debug with all the whatchamacallits, GD scripts or GD prints, not GD scripts, is really. And this thing. Am I answering which thing? Bumblebite? Or are you asking if someone is answering me? We're talking about so much stuff so fast. Thing like class human, then extend wrestler class human. Right? Check if class has its function name. English, Casper, English isn't your first language? I'm shocked because I haven't seen any. You speak English very well. What are we doing? I was writing something and then I got yammering on. All right, so the only thing we actually need here is, do we need to save this? No, we don't need to save this. So I'm not going to put an export on it. So all we need is a public population data here. And then we're going to go population. See, why did that thing want me to make it a getter setter? Yeah, I watched Bumblebite stream the other day too, and he was also, I was like, what the fuck is all this stuff? Not because he's bad at programming. It's because I didn't know what I'm doing. I think that's like my new thing is to watch C# Godot programmers because it's like almost every stream I've been like, oh, that's why you do that or whatever. You know, some stuff I just do because you're supposed to, because it forces you to. All right. So when we instantiate this, we're just going to assign this over here. That should be cake. But I am looking forward to messing with that interface eventually. Where the fuck was this thing? It's right here. So right here, we'll do... we need to change what this is, though. This is going to be the fuck out of here. Subordinate. Subordinate button. And then we will say subordinate button population data equals population data. You want me to cast that? Really? Yeah, no. IntelliSense, you failed me. All right. We were talking about this last stream and I was thinking about it more once again. So I had this idea for a video game where it was multiplayer and it might as well just be a website. And I'm curious what everyone thinks, because I think the consensus was it would be easier just to write it in JavaScript because so I was thinking, oh, I'll do it in Godot, but then everyone would have to download like the client. And then it's very like a simple game where like you just push a couple buttons. But then there has to be like a login page, and you got to host it, and then everyone has to have the client. So what do you guys think? This is the same question again, because there's different people in chat. JavaScript or Godot client, or I guess you could do C# for the back end and then JavaScript for the front end, I think is how it works. What are we testing here? There's no way to test this. I mean, I guess we can see if we get a bug. Okay, we've recruited somebody. There was no bug, so I guess that works. So for this, now we just got to make this a signal. And I think we got to do a custom signal for this. In fact, I know we got to do a custom signal for this. And I haven't written a custom signal in a long time. So I got to remember how that works, which I'm trying to think where I wrote that last time. It wasn't that difficult. It was actually surprisingly easy. Godot C# custom. I think actually Joker just told me how to do it. He just was like, just type this in there, and I did it. That's signal. Desire to watch specific people. I went through and watched so many people trying to. Well, I noticed you're very helpful to us noobs. Let me see. Custom signals. Signals as C# event. This is, I think, what I was doing. No, I remember how to do this. I don't even need to look this up because I'm so good. Okay. So we're gonna connect. No, you just go and you look for these little lightning bolts. There we go. See, look at this shit. And then it's an event, and then you just go like plus equals something. Open why can't I spell this word? Description panel. And then you go like this, and then we just, what are we passing in here though? We need to pass in a this thing. And I don't remember how to do that here. You got to do something funky. You got to like put a lambda or something in there. It's like you go equals like this or something stupid. It's not that. No, I mean it might be. Oh, it's right here. See? Except you put something in here, I think. Two signal. C# pass variable in event. See, it's something like this. Fucking var. This is for with there's nothing, wherever it went. This is for when there's no variable, you're passing nothing. I know that but I need to pass in that population data. I mean, there's another way I could do it. No, there isn't. I need to pass in that population data, and I just can't remember. I've done it before. And it wasn't that big of a deal. My shitty memory. Sender and event. I just need to see an example. This is not what I'm thinking of. It's the... well, wait, this thing's doing it. Make class inherent from event args with member. (2018) I didn't know that Unity ever did JavaScript. Event args. Make class inherent from event args with member. What the fuck is event args? That's my response to everything. What the fuck is that? Oh, all right. Now we're back to the vocabulary conversation. I need to take a vocabulary class just on C#. On basic programming. I'm gonna find one that I did before. This is what we're gonna do. We can't use plus equals. Well, I mean, we can do part of it. What if we search for this? Oh, that's not gonna help me because I'm casting a bunch of crap. All right, here's one. Here's something. Is this a custom? What is this? The fuck is this? Generate input goods? I just stick that thing in there? What is the user imminence? It has it's passing toggled and good. It's what? Maybe I'm overthinking this. So I go, where'd that thing go? It was goods container or something? No. Here it is. What is this under? County improvement container. I was going to put this down here so I have a reference. So I went plus equals population data, except then I do lambda thing, and then I put in good or population data, and then this is going to complain because this doesn't have population data in it, right? Okay, it still is complaining. It doesn't take delegate action does not take one argument. Is this the wrong? No, it's got to be the right thing. Button pressed. Yeah, that's an action. This is doesn't allow it. Emit when the button is pressed or toggled. We want press. This is a button. This is on button down. If action mode is button. If you need a button press state. I mean, there's another way. Isn't there another way to do this? There's got to be. I framed that as a question, but it was actually a statement. I don't know why copying would not. Let me look at this thing. So we have this thing. It's being instantiated. This actually, I don't think should go here. This needs to go in its own thing. This is where subscribing to this at this point. Yeah, this doesn't go here anyways. I mean, I guess no, it does, because we're going to subscribe to it. But we do need to pass that in. It needs to know. Actually, I guess it doesn't need to know. We could pass in we could just get it from its child too. Inside Lambda code, you can still use variable local to this function where you are. I'm combining it in a way. So what did I do on this one? So this one has toggled, but I'm passing in two things. Show the potential fixes. Show the potential fixes. You're not showing me anything. Button press plus or equal nothing. Oh, okay. Will that work? Yeah. Will that wait? Get rid of this. Wait, if we do that though, do we even need this thing? Then wait. Why is that working? Is it literally just that? See, this is the thing. I need this not to work like 50 more times, so then I'll remember. I'll be like, oh yeah, you just put the things in then you don't. So in here, let's just put GD print. Casper was right. Putting this is wait, what was that thing at the top? I don't know. Let's see. So we got to recruit somebody. Oh, I didn't use any rainbows. Yeah, can I just, if I can just put this like this, can't I get rid of this? Well, let's see if this works. We got to recruit somebody. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do about the tick thing. I'm going to have to look that up because that so we had it, we weren't when we paused the time, we actually, it didn't used to be how it is now. It's set now to pause, like it's set tree pause or whatever. All right, Casper was right. There we go. Thank you, Casper. So, but I can't get rid of this thing. I can't just get rid of this. No. All right. So what the fuck is this thing then? This is just send nothing? It's just telling me that I need to send something. Is that what this is? This little thing is saying send this thing. Here, I don't know why I'm doing that. Let's go over here. Sometimes ChatGPT is, what the fuck is this thing doing? Also, I've asked this before. Oh, I didn't use the reasoning thing. It's nice that it's giving me this offer, but it's also like I don't know the answer to which one's better. The line is a Lambda function as an event handler to the pressed event. Okay, that's, yeah. Whenever subordinate button is pressed, it calls this thing, which is what we want. If population data changes before the button is pressed, the Lambda will use the latest value. So it's talking about, I think, between these two lines. Whoops. If this line runs multiple times, the method may be added multiple, causing. The null exception is, but I actually like it when the code breaks when there's a problem. Ensure it's only subscribed once. Oh, this is great. So ChatGPT is like, you could do this, and then there's a little note. This won't actually work. As expected, because lambdas are unique, and so see below for the proper fix. I don't think so. It's not a, well, it's going to go through. It doesn't know. I only gave it this one line. It is going to go through and it's going to instantiate each one of these, but we need each one to subscribe so we can click on each one. I didn't test if each one was working. I just clicked on one of them. Use a named method instead. Yeah, so this is the way I was thinking we could save the population data, but then we would need like a list of population data and stuff, and what does this response say? Capture variable reference. Store population data in local variable and set the loop. Why? If population data is changing before the button is pressed, the Lambda will capture the last value. Wait, what? If population data is changing before the button is pressed, it's not, but let's say it could. The Lambda will capture the last value of population data rather than the value at time of assignment. The last value rather than the value at time of assignment. That's okay. No, like it's not changing, but if it was, I think we'd want the newest one. If this line is inside a loop or method that runs multiple times, the event might be assigned multiple times, causing multiple callbacks. What is this things? It is being assigned multiple times, but it's on purpose to each different thing. And let's double check something here though. Well, it's hard to tell, but yes, this counter is going up. So these are, let's make this actually work. So what we would do is we need to fire off, basically we need to like, we probably could just like reopen the thing, but we could actually just do this. This is what we'll do. Population description control has a population data in it, I think. Yeah, it does right here. So we would assign this, and then we probably have, yeah, update description info. For some reason, it's called deferred, and I remember this. I've changed this and gotten rid of it multiple times. So what we would do is go back to this puppy, go population description panel control instance dot population data equals this population data. Then we would do the same thing. I don't know if this is what was it? Update description info. I think this is gonna happen too fast. In 5 years. That's a Squib. I always say 5 years. It's never going down. But yes, I will be stoked one day and I will have the play testing. And have a good rest of your day. I might drop in if you're streaming later. See some Tarkov. All right, let's see if this should just work here. Of course, we gotta wait for these. What are you having for lunch, Joker? Mac and cheese? We're always talking about mac and cheese and crocodiles. So when I said earlier, like 5 seconds ago, I said this would just work. I was like, why did I say that? This is not gonna work. But it did just work. It's kind of jarring. But I think that's okay. Let's recruit some more people. So we're still on 3 here. Let's just let some time go. Is it going? No, it's not going. Why are you unpaused here? All right, we recruited. Let's get one more person. There we go. Frank Bailey. So Catherine is who this should be. That look on my face was, I think we need a back button somewhere. Let's make sure. I'm not going to do a back button. What are these fucking people's names? Judy. All right, Judy. Let's pick one of the. Judy, your cool is 14. Let's double check that their cool says 14 there. Let's go back to you. All right, so this works. That was pretty easy, honestly. Thank you, also. And we can take this out. Though I should probably leave it in there for good. So me and Joker, I think it was last weekend or something, we were talking about weak references versus strong references, and I've already forgotten what we decided. See, so weren't we talking about custom signals? So it's relatively easy. Like not today, in the past. All right, so this works, and we can mark it off the list. And that was actually really easy. I feel like there was something else I wanted to do with that. But I don't want to get sidetracked. But at the same time, there was something I was like, it would be cool if you could click on this and it would go there. Like the same thing. Okay, well, if the hero who is recruiting moves, then recruitment ends, or maybe if if the player has the hero do anything besides recruiting, and interrupts the recruitment process. So I actually think that we can interrupt the recruitment process. Are we full of people? We're full of people. Let's add in some more people. Man, the sensitivity thing is killing me. How would we fix that? It's going to be some weird level of jank. So on this, he's set on recruit. His activities recruit. Let's let 4 a.m. go by because we changed something. And then if we check mark that, it's actually, yeah, it's going to change him to scavenge. So he's going to stop recruiting. But I bet you when it hits this number of subordinates, it's going to switch it back at 4 a.m. or whatever to recruit. Yeah, it does. So we talked, or I think my decision originally, I don't know if there is a weak reference. I don't know what the difference is between a weak reference and a strong references. I think what we decided last week was just to make sure that there's a notification or something, that the player knew that this was happening. But now I'm thinking that maybe we don't want that. So this is what's going to happen, though. I can already see it. If we set it where this overrides, so these buttons override recruiting, then you're going to forget that this is checked, and you're going to keep checking, and you're going to, why the fuck isn't this guy recruiting? But then if we have these buttons do nothing, and let's say we just disable them all, then it's going to be the other way around. You're going to wonder why, like, he's not, you can't make him stop. You would have to go in here and make this 4. And it's kind of annoying without, how would we fix that sensitivity? Oh, okay. So how we would fix that is when this changes visibility, we set the engine timer back to 1. But then when you close it, it's got to remember, and I think it already has this variable for remembering that stuff. Let's look at the clock, because that's annoying the shit out of me. Where's our clock? It's a class let go for the G collector or reference count when it's used. Oh, I didn't even think about. So back in the day, which was, 2 weeks ago. No, it was a year ago or something. It was when I was doing Unity. They always talked about make sure you unsubscribe from all of your events when you close something. Like, so I wonder, should I be unsubscribing from those things when the description panel closes? Should I be negativing out of these things? Do we have this? We could put it in the other thing where it just calls this and it unsubscribes from all of them. Or does garbage collection or whatever take care of this? Or is this shit floating around? See, maybe this would be a good thing to learn how to, oh, here's the dots I was looking for earlier, and it's in the wrong spot. I don't know how to do this, but like does this thing hang out? I'm gonna ask ChatGPT. Uh, when sub now the button now the button's gone by that point. The button gets destroyed. Actually, the button hangs out. It looks like in this setup, the button hangs out until you reopen that panel for some reason. So if you, it actually, so like if you were, so the button's there when you close this, the button's still around. But and then when you open it again, now the buttons have been destroyed and new ones have been created. So these are like a duplicate, and they're actually not a duplicate because they're not a copy, but they're new ones, but they show the same thing. But they only get destroyed when you reopen that. But I'm guessing when they get destroyed, this is also destroyed. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just not going to worry about it. That's what I'm going to do. I'm totally someday in the future, I'm going to be like, why the fuck is this doing this? It's going to be because of something where I've said I'm not going to worry about this. What were we doing though? I was gonna ask that thing a question. Oh, we were trying to make a decision on this. I'm gonna take a quick break and I'll think about it outside. So there's two things. I don't want to work on the people trying to, after they've been recruited, following the hero to wherever he goes. I don't want to work on that right now because that's a whole different system that we're gonna be like setting up. You know, like there's gonna be a bunch of different things that are moving around that map besides the heroes. So I want to set it up, like set that all up at once later. So I just got to decide why Devil Cube. Um, there's all these important decisions. If they're here, move. So originally it was we were gonna set this that the player just had to put, and there would be a notification at the top that said he was recruiting or something. I don't know, let me think about it while I'm smoking. I'll be back in less than 5 minutes. Let me throw out my break timer real quick. And let me stop the music that you guys can't hear, and I will be right back. All right, let me start my music back up and let me turn off my break timer. Um, the Voldemort of game engines. Do you, Bumblebee, do you work? Do you do game development for a living? I didn't know that. Maybe you told me. I'm done complaining about my shitty memory, though, even though I am complaining about it, but indirectly. Um, I didn't think about this at all when I went outside. I got sidetracked. Uh, so I think what we were gonna do, just so that because it's kind of we need to disable these buttons if that's the case. If he's recruited, yeah. So I'm pretty sure I put in way over here a thing that has a notification at the top. Um, if I can drag this over. It was under alerts. Oh no, that was the no more people. Do you do it for a living, like you survive off that? Because that's pretty cool. Wait, you do too, Casper? Joker, the olive chat? uh, so we disable those buttons. We... Alright, this is what we need to do. We need to add an activity here, and it needs to automatically turn on when they're recruiting, and then we need to have these all disabled. That's what we need to do. Develop for a living, like get paid to do game development. Um, man, one of my friends who I've known for 30 years or something, 25 years or something. I think my memory is bad. Man, his memory is so bad. I had some construction at my house too, and I've been like, this guy's a fucking scam artist, the construction guy. But it dawned on me, I think his memory is just gone, and he's trying to cover it up. I always think of Memento, right? And I mention this movie all the time. There's a part in Memento, Memento is about the dude who only can remember like 15 minutes. And in that movie, they talk about how there was this other guy who also had the same memory condition. And they were like, yeah, and the main character's like, yeah, we figured out that guy was faking it, but it turns out he wasn't faking. He was just pretending that he could remember because he didn't want to like look dumb. And I think that's what the construction guy was doing. I was envisioning this morning. I was thinking about that. Like it was pointing less like I've been like that motherfucker. That guy sucks. But then this morning I was like, what happens if he's like got a condition where his memory is just gone? I wish I had taken a picture. I'll take a pic. Well, maybe I'll take a picture after I'm done. Shit's crazy. Wait, maybe I did take a picture. Let me see. I kind of took a picture. It's not a very good picture. We had a big discussion like a week before that there was no need to put power here. He just needed to run an Ethernet cord down. And I was in the other room, which was right next to this, but I was working my day job, so I didn't look. And then he was like, "I'm done." And I went, and there was power here. There's power here, and there's just the hole here. This was not here, and I was like, What about the Ethernet? And he just looked confused. And then he like kind of got pissed off and he stomped off. And then he put this is his Ethernet solution. So now there's a bunch of fucking holes. Yeah, this is my house. This is right over there. Well, other direction. This is the Ethernet cord that's powering this stream. Is this Ethernet cord right now? Right here. So yeah, I was thinking, like he was creating extra work for himself. That's why I was like, what a piece of shit. He was just creating extra work for himself to make some more hours. But now I'm thinking maybe he forgot about the whole conversation and he just was like, what were we talking about? Running power here? And then he ran power and then was like, oh, Josh changed his mind or some shit. Shit is crazy. Took him hours to do it too. Yeah. No, I'm not kidding. Bumblebee, that's my house. Yeah. That's the green part's a different thing. That's unrelated. The green part's the fact that it's that green color is unrelated. It's not on purpose. I mean it was on purpose, but it's not related to this thing. All right. Enough me avoiding this next step. So the next step I think is we have to do where these are all we need to add a recruiting thing. And we actually have one that's hidden right now. And I think I closed it. I closed the thing that I needed. UI. This is going to be the hero. This is the one here right here. So we have this hidden thing. I think this is for mustering. So that actually, we're going to use that different. We have training, and then we can add another one that's recruiting before the mustering one. And then we could turn that on, and we could disable this whole top bar. We could just turn it off, maybe. So it'd be very obvious that you're doing recruiting. Because once again, a lot of it. So the reason why I'm always bringing up these weird cases where like people are going to forget and whatnot is because that's what I do when I'm playing video games. I'm like, why is it doing this? And it's like, oh, I forgot that I had to check something or uncheck something. So I want it to be very obvious. So what we'll do, we'll go to our icon site here. And we'll find some recruiting subordinate type thing. And we'll download that. We'll set this all up. We kind of have it half done. Subordinate. All right, we got nothing for that. What about recruit? We got nothing. What about hire? We got nothing. We have serve. There's a server rack. A doner kebab. I'm not. Oh, meat served. A ladle. We could do a ladle. Pirate icons. What are our pirate icons? None of these are looking. What? What else we got? We could do something. Oh, that's a tarot card? I thought that was like a little boat. Like we could just put whatever, like a dodo. Because I think I have a tooltip on these things. Yeah, when we can just put the tooltip. I mean, we're not going to have enough icons for everything, even though this site has whatever number of icons. Worker. We look. Worker. A farmer. A sign. It's kind of interesting how it did its search. Liquids, tools, heads and faces, spike, slash, and crack. What do we got here? Oh, we've looked at these before. I mean, we probably looked at most of these. Symbols? Is this really? It's new? Fucking lambdas. Everywhere we go, there's lambdas. Um, oh, this. That could kind of work. That could be okay. That kind of like looks. What are our other ones? We could use the flag. I mean, like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's kind of confusing though. What we got going here? Fucking lambdas everywhere we go. A chameleon glyph. Alright, well, look, it's a little bit more. Cat? I like cats. Schrodinger's cat dead. Would it be popping out like that if it was dead? Oh, isn't it? Dude, that used to be one of my things where I would spend hours like trying to find. I can't even believe how much time I used to waste on that. And there's a point where I just have to go like, no, we'll just whatever. It doesn't, because like the dream is to hire an artist at some point. Um, you know what I mean? Like this isn't permanent. It just got to work for now, and especially because I actually have a tooltip on these. So if I forget what that means, like this scavenge, this little guy running, that doesn't. The thief, like that doesn't. Yeah. No, I've spent so much time and looking for like assets online. So much time like trying to find the perfect asset. It's yeah, I totally agree. I'm glad that someone else agree. I think it's like a um I think it's like a noob thing. I don't know if it was for you, but for me, it was like definitely like a noob thing. Like, yeah, I'm gonna find the best graphic or whatever. Let's just pick something. An escalator. Uh, nice winding down with graphics. Hopefully, I'll have enough time to add this one thing because I started a little later today because I was having all sorts of issues. Kind of like the tree house. My parents built a tree house. This is 10 years ago they did it app, so obviously I'm too old now for it. And it's like all secluded and it's for my nieces. And my parents are like, this thing is so great. And I was like, it's a great place to like smoke pot. And they were like, yeah, that's definitely what it's going to be used for. So yeah, they preemptively set up a pot smoking place for my nieces. They're 10. All right. Yeah, let's go back to whatever that one was that I was like, that one will work. Too far. Too far. I don't remember. Was it a sign? Yeah, it's definitely like I think it's maybe it is a way of like procrastinating working on the actual code, like because oh well um I was productive today. I picked one thing that I kind of like. We'll pick what was it? Well, it was the black flag. We'll do this one. And I think I was doing SVGs for some reason. It's good enough. I guess I could do dot SVG, huh? Yeah, I was doing SVGs. Even though I do think it converts it, and then we need to make it the same size. So let's open this in, I think I was using Inkscape for SVGs, and we gotta find one though that's the same size. Oh, it looks like 26 by 26. I actually put it in my thing, and then I gotta remember how to do this too. It's already, yeah, we gotta go this, we gotta go 26 by 26, but then we gotta change the canvas size. No, it's here? No, I think there's a different spot we gotta do it in. No, it's like under... Maybe it is here. Page? No, this is for exporting. That will kind of work, but no, there's another spot. I feel like it's under preferences, but like I said, I haven't done it in a long time. I can't remember. Layer view. Document properties. Here we go. Here it is. 26. My new thing is to try to create things with no graphics. That's what I want to do, is have no graphics at all. So we're going to call this recruiting. What's going on with this just being a black box? That doesn't look right. Recruiting 26 by 26. Let's save this, I guess, in my downloads. We put a, what is this, black flag? It looks like I was doing this differently. Black flag. We got to figure out what's going on here, though. Did I not resize it correctly? I think what I did was just made the canvas size. I think you gotta, yeah, you gotta do that. I didn't control A it. There we go. Yeah, we want that, and then we were at what? Document properties. It should, I feel like it should, oh, I control Z'd my way to freedom there. And then we do that, then we save it, then we're good there. We close this. We can go to our heroes. We can X out of there. We can... I guess we have this in a strange folder. Good enough. And we'll drag this over here. One day. Then we will duplicate this muster one. We will rename this one to recruit. And so what are we going to do with the muster? I think we'll leave it for now. Maybe we won't. Maybe we'll hide these for now and we'll deal with it later. It looks like I connected signals to them as well, which is strange. Where's our black flag? There we go. That's confusing. Then we're going to want to put in our tooltip for when I forget. We're going to have to set up a new word. We might have had a word, so let's, we got to do it this way. Let's go over to here. 2D4X. Not scripts. Localization. And look, we have a gap in here. Hopefully there was nothing there that was important. We need word recruit. We have recruited. Wonder why we have that. This is obviously not in alphabetical order. what am I doing here? Data. Sort. Column A. Word. Recruited. We really... why do I not believe that we don't have recruit? What is the... You're idle? Why are you idle? Recruit. It's right there. Yeah, I know you can use Control App. Let's see. Where is that spot? That's under activities. It's very strange. What was I going to say? I use Access at my work sometimes, and that is the dumbest search. Which the activities name is recruit. That makes sense. What are we doing here? I think we should change those. All the activities should probably match. We could just use the activity name for what we're activity they're doing, because this is actual activities. These are activities. Work isn't. I don't think. Work. Oh, it is. Yeah, these are all activities. So we shouldn't have separate words for those, I don't think. Yeah, if you try to search for stuff in Access, you gotta, like, every time you do it, you gotta, like, tell it, don't search this field. It searches just the field. It defaults to search just the field that you're in, which is very strange. And then you gotta tell, like, the whole document, or no, you gotta do that. And then you also gotta tell it, like, partial results every time. Yeah, we should take this out. We shouldn't have these words in here if they're activity, if they're already in activity. So, what I'm going to do instead, actually, is I'm going to add this to every one of these, because the reason why I'm going to do that is because I might be using it somewhere else, and I want to see, actually, we'll say this is an activity. I want to see it when this is an activity. This one too. Research, scavenge, work, build, construct. Construct is an activity? No. Build, work, research, scavenge, explore. And we'll switch these ones right now. I have a space in some of these, doesn't matter. And then this other one, muster, do we have this in here? Muster is going to be an activity. This will be an activity. And then train will also be one. So we'll have this. If I see this, just in case I use it, I'll see that there's something funky going on here and figure it out. But in the meantime, what we can do for our current thing is we can put the activity name in the tooltip for this one. So this was activity name. I guess we should do it for all of them, honestly. So we'll do activity name. Let's go to the top here. We want to go to scavenge. Activity scavenge. Don't leave that extra line there because it will fuck you later. Build. B. Man, subordinates. It just doesn't seem like it should be spelled the way it's spelled in my brain. Like my brain doesn't agree with what I'm typing. Work. And I don't know why. This is back to that conversation about learning disabilities or something. I mean, Miss O'Donnell was her name. My like 8th grade, 7th and 8th grade teacher, English teacher. I'm sure she's dead now. She was like 190 when I was in oh, do I now have Explore in here? That's the whole thing we're working towards. You constantly disagree with your brain? Yeah, I know that feeling. We'll insert this here. No, I just want to just add a line. Fine. We'll do it at the bottom. Activity. See. Now I can't remember what the 3 things. There's 3 things for the activities. Description, name, and tooltip. Activity. Explore. Description. Name. And I think the tooltip, once again, I think I'm jumping. I don't think we actually need tooltip, but I'm still putting it in here just in case. Some systems use English phrase as the key in the translation dictionary. No need to create extra artificial keys. And also in Godot, you put English phrase as text, and it will display even if it won't. I'm not sure what you mean. Explore the act of discovering new areas. Single Wings, how's it going? Name, explore. I can't believe that wasn't there. Tooltip. All right, we have that now. We got to also have. We need to put it here. Full of food. Well, nap is my favorite thing. I love napping. Next, we're on recruit, which I think we already did. And I nap after like every stream. I nap all the time. The other day, I took a nap and then I woke up and I was awake for like 30 minutes and then I just went and took another nap. I was like, yeah, enough of being awake. Muster. We don't have muster in here either. What's up with this? Oh, look, there's a typo. This is why I sort this shit and do it that way. Activity. That's going to break something else. We don't have muster in here either. English phrase as the key. No need to create. I don't know what you're. Won't find. I don't know what you mean there. God damn it. Activity. Muster. Description. Activity. Explore. What? Not explore. Muster. Name. Activity. Muster. Tooltip. I don't know what it does if there's no translate. I mean, we could look right now to see if there's no translation in there. Activity. So we get muster, the process of gathering subordinates, and then of course this is gonna say what type of food did you have? Wait, mayo. This is gonna be muster, and then this is gonna be the same thing. No mustard, no mayo. the master. What was the thing? The master muster. The master. We didn't get to use him. No A column in spreadsheet. And content. Oh, I see what you're saying. So you just have the English one here, and then you would have the translations next to it. I gotcha. So most of the ones I've seen all have like this, and there's one that I'm gonna probably take some of their stuff from. It's Joker actually sent me a link one. Let's see. So activity, and then we have train. Is this set to word train? Yeah, we're gonna put this. Jump this back up to here. There's no train either. 99, 90. Okay, 70%. 70% positive. We're gonna do train activity. Train description. Oh, we got that typo, that same typo. Activity. Activity. Train. Name. Activity. Train. Tool tip. And then making your the hero's subordinates improve their skills. Sure. Fuck you. That is my most hated Excel thing. And same as this. Let's test this out. I'm just curious. I assume it does. We gotta re-import it. We gotta close this. I assume it would also just show. It would show the capital part. If there is, so we have it's set to English right now, and we should be able to just do this. As Joker sent like a link to, there's like a open source translation thing, where they have many of the standardizations. The problem is we don't have this thing. This thing is turning off automatically, so that's not going to help us. We can't test it right now. And we would need to change localization, internationalization. I swear I used to, there we go. Change this to Spanish. And then doesn't seem like any of these worked. We had some build should be in there. I guess it's just the name, but this should have been in Spanish. We can open this again now that we have it imported once. There's a little symbol on here if that's broken. I was just curious. I assumed they'd put these in there, and I think it does, because I think I've had other mistakes. But I did put Spanish in there. Is everything in English? See, there's a research thing right there. So we do have a word that we might need to keep. This is why I put that like that. Because it's not actually talking about the activity in this particular case. This did not. Did I not restart the game? Yeah, so I looked through the link that Joker sent where it's like common translations, and they all had this like this key here. Yeah, my translation's not kicking over here. Oh, I put it under fallback. Oh, okay. So the fallback is whatever it's going to go to. So that's what it's going to do. Whatever you put here, it's going to fall back to. But we're going to test it anyways. Like if it can't find it. I like to test everything. No surprises, you know. There we go. Trabajo. Yeah, and so it falls back to that. All right, let's translate these puppies. And I guess we'll leave word research. I mean, it is an activity, but it's also like a title. Like and we're not talking about it as a activity, even though I guess it kind of is. All right, so we have all that. Let's change that button. I think let's just change it to activity. The activity, let's just try to keep it like less if they're around. We sure have a lot of things open here. We do need that one. I think we're done with the subordinate button for now. We might need to reopen in a minute. We probably don't need the map editor open either. Let's close this. Let's save this. Let's close this. And let's re-import this. And let's go down to, man, I really hate the filter. There's got to be a way to make this not a filter. Didn't know what that button did, so I decided to click on it. It's search instead of a filter. It's really blowing my mind that that's like, filter seems like the opposite of what you would have at default. Like it seems like you would be asking, everyone would be asking for a filter because all it had was search. It weirds me out. In fact, like almost all of the stuff that I do with work stuff, like every website that I like, vendor website, I'm always like, can you add a filter to this? Because they have a search, but I need a filter. So Bubble Bite, you know, I agree with you. but I was talking to my stepdad, who's 70, and because I was like, well, he was doing something, and I was like, just push that button, just start pushing buttons, man. And he was like, when we grew up, just pushing buttons broke stuff. And so that's why they're apprehensive about just pushing buttons. I don't know if it's true, but I was thinking, like, in 1987 was pushing because they were mechanical. But I feel like even then though, but also my coworkers that as the IT manager, I'm like helping them. They also are very apprehensive about just pushing buttons because they don't want to break stuff. And so I don't know if that's an excuse or what. What was I going to do here? Oh, I was going to fix the research button. Like they use the, I didn't want to break anything excuse, when in reality, they also don't read stuff, though, either. We don't have a tooltip here, but we probably should. And what I mean is they don't read, like, pop-ups and stuff, which I find also very strange. This is actually a top bar thing. This is a top bar. I was helping one of my coworkers, and here it is right here. I was helping one of my coworkers, and she was having this issue, and I was like, she had to log into something. And so I said, put in your credentials, and she put in her credentials. She hit next. It popped up this big fucking warning that was like over, like, something popped up on the screen that was like, covering like this much of the screen, practically this much, like half the size of this. And she immediately next through it. And I was like, whoa, 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 what did that say? And she's like, I don't know. And it blew my, because it was like it was a warning. It wasn't like, hey, welcome to fucking Microsoft or something. It was an actual warning. And then I couldn't duplicate the warning because she had agreed to, so it basically was asking, like, do you want to, like, there was an issue with this. Do you want to do this to solve the issue? Hit next. And so she just hit next. And I happened to see the file path that it was talking about. That was all I caught with the air. So it actually broke what she was doing. But because I was able to see this file path, it gave me a hint on what the problem was. And I was like, how long has this thing been popping up? She's like, this pops up every day. Oh my God. So I'm like, it's crazy to me that they don't click around, but then also they don't read what it's telling them. It's very, so I understand it to a point. Like, you don't want to break things, but almost everything that you can break gives you the option to bail out. Like, if it's something that's going to break something, like, it gives you a confirmation panel. Almost everything does in this day and age, where it says, are you sure you want to delete your whole computer? And I don't know, I click around a lot on stuff, and it's probably has screwed me once or twice, but I feel like the benefits. We need to change this to, what was it? Activity research name. We're still in Spanish, though. So that looks like we still have to translate this one. It looks like we translated one part of it. So all of that was for this thing. When they're recruiting, we need to turn this off and turn on the other thing. We're going to keep the two. We're going to keep these two things hidden for now because we're not using them. Yeah, the unfortunately not everywhere is the problem, but I still click on, like, Sometimes I like hover over a button. I'm like, I think this will give me a confirmation. I hope it will. What was I doing that recently? And then like after one or two, I was confident, because it gave me like one or two of the buttons. What was that? That was probably something work related. But I also, so this is not blaming the user. Like I don't think it's always the user's fault, but I also think that like every website now just blasts you with garbage that you got to click through. And I think that's part of the problem. Is there, I guess they're pop-ups, but like sometimes, like every time you start fucking Outlook, now it says, hey, there's new features. Do you want to look at them? But you don't because you're in a hurry to check your email. So you like hit next, and then you just get used to like clicking through the garbage. And there's also, like, if you go to a website and it asks you about cookies, like you're clicking through that too. And like there's just so much clicking through of stuff that now we're just being trained to just click OK to everything, which is not good as well. All right, back over here. We're going to set this. We're going to need this army activity thing, even though I don't think we're going to keep this being called army activity. We should call this like secondary activities or something. Secondary. Because we're going to put a variable in for this right now. So we might as well call it. The moving of buttons on loading page, for example, that there's usually you know what also fucking drives me nuts? I'm trying to think of a website. I wonder if like Amazon will do it. I think Amazon's fast enough that it doesn't do it. No, it doesn't. What drives me nuts is, yeah, that is exactly what drives me nuts, is where what fucking website does that all the time? It drives me fucking crazy. Man, I wish I could remember so I could show it to you guys, because it's like a 3-second pause before it adjusts correctly. And so I'm always clicking the wrong thing because I think it's done, but it's not. And I hate it. I don't know how we've gotten to this point with the internet where it's bloated. we need a JavaScript developer in chat to tell me, why is the internet suck now? Is it JavaScript? Yeah, all right. I assume it's just, I read an article about some amazingly fast website, and it was just these dudes like spent days and hours, making this site that loaded all this data amazingly fast. It preloads stuff, like, so when you go to a website, it's preloading like all the pages you could possibly go to. And not all of them, but whatever. And so that, yeah. Microsoft, I don't know if this is I can't show you guys because it's my work admin panel, but to go into a text field where you type in text, you have to double click now. And I don't know if that's because I'm using Firefox or what, but it also drives me nuts. So like you have a text field that you want to type into for like searching or whatever, anything in the Office 365 admin panel, you got to double click to get into it. And it also drives me nuts. Yeah, there's so many crazy things, and I think some of them are deliberate, like ways to get you to do things on websites. So some of them, I think, like, they make it like I had to. This is for Zoom. I'm just gonna shit talk any company that. So Zoom makes it, if you want to lower your number of licenses, you have to open a support ticket. So that kind of behavior is just to have the consumer give up and just keep the number of licenses. Oh, it's only $20 a month. Fuck it, I don't care. And I have to open a support ticket. That's 100% set up so that you just give up, because it's also like this process where you open a support ticket, then you got to like do stuff, whatever. That's what that is. And I think there's websites that do that. Then some of them, I think some of the website stuff is just incompetence. Like the website just made bad. And then there's some, I don't know what it is. So now every website has some weird issue. There's a whole thing, like, to get the customer to give up on getting their money back is kind of like a built-in thing to websites now too, I feel. Like, the same thing I was talking about the Zoom. All right, what we're doing. We're going to make it so this thing, when you click it, did I open this script up? I don't think I did. I was yammering. I was complaining again. I love complaining. All right, we're going to need a new thing, though. Oh, look, I had it already in here. I think I was probably just hiding it. Like that sec on. I saw a Reddit post where the person was saying that opting in and out of cookies was never worked and Europe sucked because they force everyone to update cookies to check that checkbox, and it doesn't work anyways because everyone they just store their cookies or whatever. And it sounded like the craziest propaganda. Like, it sounded like a conspiracy theory, and everyone just tore this guy apart. And I was so glad because he just sounded like a fool. All right, so we're going to find this. This is the checkbox pressed. This is not what we wanted. We're going to find, I just renamed it. So secondary. One more. Okay, I guess we didn't use that. I just had an empty thing in there, which I guess is, I was preemptively, I thought I did something. LinkedIn? Oh, yeah, LinkedIn. What are we doing? We're complaining about websites. We're complaining about everything we're complaining about how the internet sucks. LinkedIn, yeah. Same with, so it's a common thing at my work. This happens like every 3 years or something, where they want me to do something they want me to get their login to Facebook at work, or to just some website that's like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever. And it's always like, there isn't a login for that. And they're like, well, how the fuck do you get into it? I don't know. There's probably a LinkedIn logged in. I don't know. Facebook is the one I dealt with most recently. Like, you have to have a person attached to it. And they're like, well, what's this weird person that's attached to our business? And it's like someone made a fake person to attach to the thing. And now the fake person's been like disabled, and because Facebook figured out it was a fake person because their name is like, Bill Businessman or something. It's always just like ongoing, like, well, now our business is locked. We're locked out of our business. And then you try to get support. The whole thing's, man, I actually went on Facebook last night. I hadn't in a long, long time. And it's just, all right, let's concentrate. What are we doing? Hero panel. Is this really called the hero panel? I guess it is. This is going to break, so I'm going to fix this because I renamed it. Yeah, it's weird. I was looking at my friends list on Facebook, and it was kind of, you could kind of like the people who were still using Facebook actively, or the people you would expect to still use Facebook actively, if that makes sense. And it was kind of weird. Like, lots of people on my friends list had disabled their account. So we don't need to mess with the spawn checkbox. Hero activity checkbox pressed. This is the links for the first row. So we have the first row. Did I say, was there a panel, like a panel as in like a panel on a website, or a panel as of people talking to a panel of Doge experts? Number of checkbox. What are we doing here? Okay, so this is if they're checkboxing. If the player's actually checkboxing, clicking the checkbox. Oh man, I'm at 3 hours. I'm gonna try to be more productive here. I'm gonna try to get this one thing to disable. Do we want to turn it off completely? I think we should turn it off completely. So how does this work? When this thing loads, when you open this up, hero button pressed is not what we want. This thing instantiates. So do we have this at like ready? Why would ready not be at the top if we did? It looks like we don't. Oh, so it was like an interview. Well, the Doge thing is fucking insane. That whole thing, and him whining about Tesla stock prices, and yeah, he's such a fucking piece of shit. The Doge thing is insane. It's just like, I don't know. It's shocking that. So the thing is I have a hard time believing that they're so stupid. Like, that's part of the thing. It's part of the problem I have is, can they really be that stupid? Or is it all just an act? Only CA person. What does CA stand for? California? I'm an Oregon. I'm an Oregonian. I grew up in California, though. Like I talk about California a lot, because I grew up in San Diego. So, like with the Doge thing, this is the part that, like, this is what I mean with, like, they can't be that stupid. Did they really expect that they would just walk in and be like, oh my God, there's so much corruption and just money laying in piles everywhere. Like, whoa, what happened? Like, or is that just performance acting where they're like, we think we found all this corruption and stuff, because they act like the government is like, doesn't have some of these things in place to check on this already. Like they act like there's nothing has ever been looked at ever in the government. And that's not true. Like they have committees and stuff that that's their job, and there's overly like accounting looks at stuff and says, where does this money go and whatnot. Does that mean that we can't find bad shit going on? I mean, that's a possibility. And it's definitely should be there should be more oversight on bad government spending. I agree with that. The problem is they're such fucking idiots. They went in we're going to find piles, and they didn't find really anything because they should have already known that there was checks, and they could look at they could ask the person, so what are the things that you generally find? Show me your process, and then go around find out more. And then the things that they find are so dumb and they don't understand them. And then the way that they look at the data that they do have is so idiotic. And it's back to that thing I think I was talking about this in one of my other streams, that when you look at logs of stuff, you're always going to find what you want to find at the beginning. The first time you look at a log, and my example is at my job, I sometimes have to look at logs because there's too much network traffic or something. The website, the internet's slow, let's say, and so then we got to figure out why the internet's slow. In my mind, I go, oh, it's probably because that one dipshit's is constantly watching YouTube or something. That's in my brain when I go in to look at the logs, right? And so the first thing I'm going to look at is that dipshit's computer. right? So I look at that dipshit's computer and I see that he's downloading gigs and gigs of stuff all the time. So, okay, yep, I was right. But then if you look at the data more, you go, oh, wait, everyone downloads gigs and gigs of stuff because they're on video calls all day. You know what I mean? Like, so, but what we're seeing, like with Doge, is that they go in with this preconceived notion and then they find what they expected to find. And they say, we did it. We found this terrible thing in the logs. But they don't look any farther. And they also run out and they tell everyone if they had just looked if they had just looked at the like more into the data, they would immediately be like, oh, okay. Turns out that there aren't a bunch of dead people on Social Security. You know, companies try fixing. I'm talking about the government, but they went over budget and failed. I'm not sure what you mean there, but are they though? Are they really intelligent computer engineers, or are they just some kid who's willing to work for him? I think that what's bad is that they're being dishonest. That's the problem. So if Elon had, let's say Elon's whole concept of like Doge was real and he really wanted to go increase efficiency, they wouldn't be running to the media every time they thought they had made up something. So all the shit that they found is made up. Like nothing that they've found is like a huge amount of money that they've found is like fraud or anything. It's just all made up stuff that they say, oh, gay mice, and then they run and they say, oh God, gay mice. There was like $60 going to gay mice, and we found it. It's like, that's not really what it was, you know. So that's the problem. Like I said, I'm not against improving government efficiency. Like there's that story of that story of like our nuclear facilities having like doors that are so old, like big concrete doors, you know, that they couldn't close them all the way and whatnot. You know, the people would wedge them open because it was a pain in the ass to have to reopen them to get in and out of the room. So they would wedge them open. Like that type of stuff, like this is real, and there is like government spending on military is like, you know, you hear all those stories where it's $10,000 for a screw or whatever. Like going in there and finding out why is it $10,000 a screw would be a legitimate thing. But the problem is that they're not even looking at that because they know they would find out that it's some military contractor, that some senator has been bought off by some military contractor, and that's why it works. You know, that's why it's that $10,000 a screw. They post every suggestion for the cabinet to accept. I'm not sure what you mean. All right, what was I doing? Population data, hero pressed. We're assigning this to something. I'm gonna try to blast through this real quick. But yeah, that's my problem with them. No, my argument is I don't think those guys are in it because they're intelligent. I don't think they were hired for their intelligence. My argument is that they're crooks, that they're dishonest propagandists. And so basically what Elon did was he hired a bunch of people not to find anything real, and anyone with ethics would know not to be higher. Like, so the problem is that like, so when Elon was like, hey, let's get this Doge thing, which once again, I'm not against government efficiency. He didn't go, like everyone who knew that this was a shady as shit thing would not accept. So all he found was like some kids that were willing to do it. Yeah, also definitely Squib, some class warfare thrown in there. So these kids, they could be smart, but they're also naive. And so he hired these naive kids to go dig up some fake stuff. When you say right-wing dishonest, what do you mean? I think they're being dishonest for their own gain, and it happens to be right-wing. I think Elon is an opportunist. So I also was thinking today, I think Elon probably is having money issues. And that's why he's jumped so hard into the right wing thing. I mean, I don't think he actually cares about any of the stuff that he's talking about. I think he's probably a white supremacist. I think he probably is a white supremacist, but I don't think he's like gives a shit that much about it. I think what he gives a shit about is like just himself. So I think that once again, I think the problem with the Doge is that they're deceptive, and what they're not there for what they're saying. They're propagandists. And so the problem, the problem isn't that they hired young people. It's that that's a sign that there's something else going on. So them hiring young people is because no one who was older would do it because they know that this is some bad shit. So, and yes, definitely fascist. I'm in agreement there as well, Squib. 100%. I think this is like 101, fascism 101 going down here. But the thing is, I like naps, so I'm too lazy to do anything about it because I need my naps. And if I don't get my naps, then so I'll just let it happen. I'm just going to sit. So yeah, but I think, so that's back to the Elon thing. He's like definitely a fascist, but I don't think he just even cares that much as long as he is in power. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't like sit around and like go, "Hoo." I think he's just like bumbling around, does some ketamine. Like, I think he's a moron. I think they're naive. Yeah. So that is yes, 100%. I think that the reason why they're all young and it is because, so let me rephrase it. I do think they've probably had like big group meetings where they plan their fascism. And when I say they, I mean like Trump and Elon and all those Trump's cronies. Like they've had like their fascist meetings. But I think when they like leave the room, they're all so dumb. They're like, dude, was I eating a hot dog earlier? You know what I mean? They're like, whatever. Like, I don't think they're very intelligent. And I read the like conservative subreddit all the time because I'm curious what they think. And so Trump won the election, and they kept saying, "Don't worry, he's not going to do any of this stuff he says he is because they all are too stupid." So they kept saying like, liberals, don't worry, they're not going to be able to pull off any of the stuff that they keep saying they're going to do because they're too stupid. The problem is like having that level of incompetence in our government while they're trying to accomplish fascist goals while we're all sitting here napping is a problem. And Squib, yes, the generational wealth that like Elon has is also like the two-tiered justice. We could go on about this forever. And I always feel like I'm standing on my soapbox, Bumblebite and me always have these conversations, and I know Bumblebite thinks that sometimes we're getting heated, but I hope that you don't, Bumblebite. Sometimes I get excited and I'm just, motherfuckers, I'll kill you all, I hope you don't think that, because sometimes I do get like, oh my God, me and my friend were talking about something, we were fucking shouting at each other. We were agreeing. We were on the same page, and we were like, yeah. We were sober too, so it would have been different. Like if we were drunk, like that would have been like, yeah, whatever. Crystal, how's it going, man? I gotta do the nap soon. Yeah, that's what we were doing. We were arguing over some dumb stuff. Um, I think so. I think he does too. But the thing that's weird about the vendetta towards the left, I think. So I actually think Elon's kind of an interesting case study. Like they're gonna write books about this dude because there's something like going on. So the video game thing is like mind blowing to me. what do they call it? Boosting? Like the boosting thing, like it's mind blowing that you would go on like so okay. So like let's say he boosts and he posts on Twitter like look at my character or whatever. Um, no one would ever know. But then he goes on like a live stream and just shows that he didn't like prep for it or anything. So he's like there's something going like is he just a moron? That's what I keep coming back. Are these guys can't be this stupid, right? Like every single time, it always comes back. This is what started this conversation, as I said these guys can't be this stupid, and now it's been like 6 hours of me ranting and raving about fucking Elon Musk. Crystal, I do plan a nap here soon. How are you streaming? He came clean. Did he come clean? The other thing that's weird, so this is related to the video game thing. Trump cheating at golf is so strange to me too. It's the same thing. It's wow. So do you think that's just what it is? Is that they just want to be the winners every time? But like with Trump, it's like embarrassingly like the golf cheating thing is so weird to me. Scram. I so when I was like in my early 20s or whatever, I always thought like businessmen and like whatever politicians or whatever were somewhat smart or whatever. But now that I'm in my 50s and I'm 51, I'm not in my 50s, whatever. I've met like people who are like businessmen, professional musicians and stuff, and they're all a bunch of fucking morons. I'm not saying that I'm not a fucking moron, by the way. So it is weird. It's really strange how like some of like the business leaders, I'm not talking about like what's the Hathaway guy? I'm not talking about that level, but even him, he's probably a moron. But I'm talking about like people where like this is a respected like local businessman who's worth millions, and I meet the guy and like I'm just like this is just some idiot. He just got lucky. It's weird. It's very strange. Like all of them, I don't want to say heroes, but people that I had to, one day I could be a businessman. Not that that was my goal. You guys get what I'm saying. I'm way behind here on chat. So that's the Casper saying when you're saying there's stupidity that they assume that they're stupid. People are stupid. It must be something like that, but then people do. Well, the thing is that he cheats though too. That's the thing. So the thing is, that's the Bumblebee. That's the thing is that isn't Trump like good at golf? Why does he need to cheat? Like that's the how exactly did he cheat? I guess he moves the ball. Is that they call it a ball in golf? I guess he moves it. And then he like you can look it up. There's like tons of things where everyone's like, yeah, he cheats. It's just a known thing that when you play against him in any tournament, he has to win. But you were impressed by Trump? Oh, that's true, Joker. That's true. It is crazy that people. Yeah. All right. I gotta finish it. No, I'm gonna call it. My nap's coming up here. Let me push this code. Let me make sure I know where I'm at. I think we are right here. If the hero who is recruiting moves in the no, we're not right there. We're not there either. Is he streaming? Maybe I should. If the hero is recruiting moves in the recruiter in, let's add in what we're actually doing. We are, what is this thing called? This is called the hero list checkbox panel container. That's a nice long hero list checkbox panel container. Needs to show the secondary activity panel when the hero is recruiting. I noticed, I was on my other computer and I subscribed to him. I noticed he only had 4 followers. So he does need some love there. Let's move this to the top. Let's close this. Let's push this. So what did I do today? I did very little. I just talked a bunch. Learned a little bit. So what did we do though? I marked off 2 things, I think. One of them was just testing though. We just tested that though. Streaming is hard. It is the biggest thing is technical issues. Those really drive me nuts. I don't know if you guys have that when you're streaming, but the occasional technical difficulty makes me crazy. Oh, that's what we did. That's all we did. That was really easy. Subordinates button now opens. Thanks to Casper. Thanks to Casper, we did it. It was really easy because Casper did it. Thank you. Subordinate button now opens the population description panel for that subordinate. All right, commit all. Upload. All right. You don't want to offend Americans? Are we easily offended? I've talked to Lord Mack. He comes in here and he's European. He comes in the chat sometimes. He's European, and sometimes I think he says similar things that were kind of touchy. I'm speaking for him again, which, I've done this whole thing. I'm like, oh yeah, this person comes in the chat and they say this. I shouldn't do that because I might be misunderstanding what they do. Yeah. Canadians, those guys, they're so touchy. What was touchy? I don't think anything was. All right, let's raid someone here. Let's go over here. Oh, Zimf, I don't know if I saw your post, your wave, but how's it going? Let's see. Let's go to my raid button here. Gotta look. He only has 1 viewer. We can rate him. He'll probably like that. Created by critters. I keep wanting to call him created by creatures. All right, we'll rate him. Like I said, he's only got like 4 followers or something. Give him some love, All right. Well, thank you guys for joining me. Thanks for letting me rant and rave and shake my fist meaninglessly in the sky. Wow. All right. Have a good rest of your existence. All right. Bye. Oh, I got to click this button one more time. There we go.